Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the 80s Cinema Club podcast. This week we'll be looking at Dirty Dancing, a film released in 1987. And as always, you have me, Harry Peden, and my co-hosts...
Alfie Meeman.
Theo Tate.
Yep, this week, Theo...
Third episode, the enthusiasm gone. We've done it.
It's already getting boring, guys.
It's the last episode.
We love this. Theo this week has written us a synopsis. Well, found a synopsis.
Yeah.
So take it away.
Too lazy to write one myself.
Yep. Take it away.
So, Baby, who's played by Jennifer Grey, she's one listless summer away from joining the Peace Corps, hoping to enjoy her youth while it lasts. She's disappointed when she finds out her summer plans have deposited her at a sleepy resort in uphill New York, in the Catskill Mountains with her parents. But her luck turns around. She meets the resort's dance instructor, and unfortunately his dance partner is pregnant. But the dance instructor, Johnny, played by Patrick Swayze, enlists Baby as his new partner. The two fall in love, but Baby's father forbids her from seeing Johnny, but she's determined to help him perform the last big dance of the summer.
Okay. We'll get straight into it then. We shall be moving on to the likes and the dislikes. So, this week, I'm going to start off with what I like about the film. The whole film in general was just good. I think it was just it wasn't a film you had to really think too much about to watch.
Complete contrast.
Contrast to the two other films we've just reviewed. But some little thing that stood out was like, it's a dance. The film's about dance,
really?
And I think, what?
Dirty Dancing about dancing?
No.
I think I watched it on film. They were just walking about.
Couldn't believe it, and not contrary. Because of that, I think the choreography was really good.
Yeah.
All dance scenes seemed... I think in some scenes it was quite funny because I thought it was like too well choreographed. When, they go up into, I guess, the Dirty Dancers spot, and where all the...
So derogatory.
I know.
It's a dirty word.
They go up to where the staff are all dancing.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me how they're all dancing in like perfectly positioned things. Nobody's knocking into each other. I mean, it's just, there's that good dancers. Mm-hmm. And it's choreographed. The choreography is really good. The choreography. There's too many words in this. Yeah. Choreography is really good. Soundtrack for me.
Yeah, soundtrack is really good.
It was just like, such a good soundtrack. I noted some songs down here. Obviously, The Time of My Life, the final song.
When it finished, were you having the time of your life?
No.
Not really. I was quite tired. I've been out of Durham beforehand.
I was having a mediocre time in my life. So no.
Yeah, it was. Let's go with dark tone.
Sounds...
So this episode's going to be a therapist session.
Checking everyone.
The soundtrack had songs like The Time of My Life, which is obviously the famous song that goes on with Dirty Dancing with the lift. And Be My Baby was one of them. What?
It's just such a bad sentence. Be My
That's
Baby.
what the song's called. And it always, because her name's Baby, or her nickname's Baby,
Yep.
it always made me thought of Baby Driver. Because his name is not Baby in the film.
It's very different films.
Yeah, but in Baby Driver, they talk about all the different songs that have Baby in it. But there's multiple songs. So there's Be My Baby, then there is Hey Baby, which is in the film as well.
I prefer Hey Jude.
There's also
Baby by Justin Bieber.
Hungry Eyes, which I think comes from this film a lot. And She's Like the Wind, which, fun fact, Patrick Swayze sang himself.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he sings that song. It's the one when they get back from the dance, I think. That song starts playing. It's sung by him. Other likes, abortion storyline is very interesting.
Sorry, I looked at your screen though. I thought it said the Obama storyline.
I don't.
Film set in 1963.
I don't think you can say anything about an abortion storyline in this.
Yeah, I can. Abortion storyline was very interesting.
No. Not with the film with how everything is now. With
you can. The abortion storyline was very interesting.
Just a warning in case this might be a sensitive.
No. But that's one of the main points of the film. Really, it's kind of what sets the whole thing off, isn't it?
True, it does.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else wants to chip in here because I've got quite a few. Johnny admitting he was being used by women. I thought that was quite a big thing because there's a point in the
True.
when because obviously you tend to see a lot of things about men using women.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s, he admits that basically he works all these holiday camps, and it's like that rich woman whose husband's only there on the weekends.
Yeah, just
like
like poker.
Basically, her husband is paying for Johnny to have sex with a wife at the time for his dance lessons.
If you want to put it that vulgar, then yes.
Well, no, that's what that's what it is.
Yeah.
The woman, baby's sister, who I've forgotten the name of, she walks in on Robbie having sex with the rich woman who was also the one who got Penny pregnant. So it's like, it's kind of showing...
Not the woman, Robbie.
What?
Robbie was
Robbie got Penny pregnant, not the woman.
Just in case your conversations...
Just in case for the sins.
But yeah, like you were saying, it was interesting that Johnny admitted that he was being used by a woman.
Yeah, like
given that this is 1963, it's set in despite being a film in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's very not characteristic for a guy to admit that, he's not. It's still that.
Yeah, he's not enjoying the company. It's like
idealised man that he has to
sort of
be with all these women and be very masculine. That he's admitting the fact that he has actually been used.
Sort of, he's sort of being the one that's like in them set moments. He's seen as the more sort of. I don't know how he's seen as the more feminine one, because in like something set in that's made in the 80s, set in the 60s, like 60s and 80s, it was all like
they're still kind of in the housewife period, I guess.
Yeah,
very
like
much was.
male dominated. Men would run the relationship. Men would go make the money.
So having a male dancer leader, really.
Yeah, he seems like the one.
He's obviously, as you hear from him, he's grown up from sort of
rough background.
Yeah, like a rough background. So being around all these rich women, sort of something to him for a way to make money. But it gets to the point it happens, he sort of realises the money he's being paid is for him to just sleep with them.
Yeah, because he talks about how he's from like the inner city. He's lived in like poorer places, and he said he comes out of the country and all these girls who look really nice and make themselves look nice and presentable. Like he said, they're passing me their not phone numbers, they're passing me like their room keys, I think. Yeah. And they wanted me to come, and he's like, he's very flattering, but also like he's being used because that's all he's been there for. Which is my other point, which I like about it. It has a lot of deeper messages than you think.
Sorry, we're mocking Harry there because he did a finger gun towards his laptop screen.
It addresses deeper issues like the class issues and prejudging people. Because the waiters at the resort, I guess, they're all from Harvard and Yale. Yeah. And the owner literally says, I've hired you because you're the best, and I want you to go around and like hang around with all the daughters and have them under the stars, but that's as far as it goes. You flirt with them, you do that, but you don't do anything else. And then as soon as Johnny and the entertainment staff come in, it's like you can't, you go nowhere near them. Yeah. You pay for that, you give them their 30-minute dance lesson, and it goes no further. But obviously that means the waiters are extremely entitled.
Oh yeah.
So it's like Robbie especially, who is like
prat, wasn't he?
He's such like he kind of like the villain of the story, not because he got
I wouldn't
Penny
say he's
pregnant.
A villain. He is just sort of
He's the only person who has that sort of role, doesn't he?
What's a way to put this without just blurting out insults towards him?
Well, no, he got Penny pregnant, and then said it wasn't his problem.
He's a fuckboy, isn't he? Really,
a fuckboy.
I was going to call him a twat, but yeah.
I mean,
they are twats. But yeah, so then he goes out with baby's sister, and baby talks about going all the way with him.
Lisa,
that's it. Lisa talks about going all the way with him, and baby is trying to discourage it because she knows what he's like. And then obviously Lisa finds out what he's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it has a lot of deeper meanings in it. So the father in the end accepts baby for doing the dirty dancing.
Yeah.
And Johnny as well.
She's changed.
Because he didn't want him to hang around with him, but it's like Johnny, when he talked to Penny, so she doesn't have to pay for the, in quotation marks, doctor's appointment, it was a backstreet abortion.
Yeah.
It's like $2,500. Like that wasn't even Tommy. That wasn't even Johnny's even salary for the entire summer.
I think it might have actually been 250.
No,
Thinking
it was-
about it.
It was 200.
No, it's 250, but in today's
$250.
money, it's $2.5
Oh, right,
grand.
okay.
I worked that out. It's $2.5 grand in today's money. So basically, that's how much Baby asked from her father, and it shows the difference because Penny won't go to the doctor's appointment because Johnny can't make that amount of money even in his whole summer shift.
Entire shift.
And Baby's father gave it to her without knowing what it was for, and shows how rich they are.
Yeah.
Especially when in the end he goes to give Robbie like money.
Yeah,
like,
a check
the
for
tip,
medical school.
which probably I don't think it's to pay for his entire medical school, but it's
was
to
to
like
help him get
it's
through.
to help him get through it. So it'll have been probably like the same amount of money.
It would have been a lot of money.
So it's like, and then obviously when he finds out, Penny, and he was
snatch it back.
snatches it back.
Little counter thing.
Alright, Theo.
in trying to find out the sister's name on the Google overview for the cast, Jerry Orbach, who plays the father, now has a terrible looking set. Or if he's still alive, in this image, has a terrible set of false teeth. I'm just gonna.
Oh
show
my
you
god!
Oh my lord.
Yeah, he definitely looked a bit better
It
in the
looks.
film.
You'll probably be able to see it.
It's
What I
the
mean, if
worst
you look on
full hair
Google,
now.
but he doesn't look quite as Oh no, he did die in 2004.
I don't.
My respects to Jerry Orbach, but those teeth
We've
are
just laughed at him.
tragic.
I don't really have too many of those. I've got like, I watched this with my mum, and she just went iconic line after she said, "I carried a watermelon,"
Yes.
which is just funny.
It's like a Potter
And I
special,
put there was a very it's not an artistic film as in like camera angles and camera
True.
shots. It's basically like you follow them around. in the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah, it
But
was.
the side angle shot where she's in the box, the magician's box,
Yeah.
it like I was really caught off guard, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And I saw she's in the box. I was like, "That's pretty technical for a film that's just about going about some 80s romance."
Yeah.
You know,
It was-
I thought it was pretty good.
And there was some nice shots of the general. I think more so than anything, the landscape played in
Yeah.
the shots because it was a very beautiful.
Obviously, it's like Butlins, but in America. It's by a lake instead of the sea.
American Butland.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, isn't it? It's a family holiday. You go
Sure,
there.
yeah.
There's different entertainment on.
I
Definitely a
like-
bit more upper class. But then
Ironically-
again, when Butlins was created in like the 40s or something,
Oh god, yeah.
it was meant for upper class people. It didn't become like a working class holiday until like the 70s and 80s probably, because it became cheaper to go there than go abroad.
How are we throwing shade at Butland?
no.
I don't think he's throwing
I've never
shade at
been.
Butlins. I think he's throwing shade
Sent
at the
apart.
economy. Throwing shade at the government. Sorry. Well, no, because you're thinking.
What?
So I'm
Well,
more
this
confused as
isn't-
how we've diverted to economy.
No, this isn't for the episode. We don't need to.
Yeah, we'll discuss this off camera.
I don't. Does anybody else have any likes? Because
Yes.
Go on then.
Quite a few.
Go on then, Theo.
I mean, throughout the film, from the first time you meet Johnny to like the last bit of the film, because it ends off with him as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's like it's not from the start as you see it, but you can see his connection with different people.
Mhm.
Like he's got from being from the inner city. Obviously, you'd think of that. It's sort of
he's a very caring guy.
yeah, it's crowded. There's a lot of people there, big families.
Mhm.
So obviously, he's going to be able to like he can work around people and he can build connections from the start with them.
So because I think he's brought in his looks of Patrick Swayze is supposed to be, and even Baby assumes at the beginning that he's like this big stud.
Yeah.
I guess
That's how
But
he's supposed to look.
she
isn't it?
even guesses that are you the father of the baby?
Yeah.
But just because he has a close relationship with Penny.
Yeah, that was also because like, obviously the way they were dancing in the staff bit.
It's
because
obviously
it was
suggestive.
the dirty dancing bit. It sort of did look like they were a couple, but it's
Yeah, 'cause
the
imagine
same
people
thing. It's the same
doing that
thing
in
that
the 60s.
happens. Like if you have a close connection, like as friends
Yeah.
with like male and female, there's obviously you're going to get them.
Yeah.
You're going to get that sort of stuff.
Especially at the time, but like I was saying again, that in 1963, I imagine that you probably didn't have too many people who were friends as close as Johnny and Penny were who weren't in a relationship really.
No, it always. I don't know why. When I was watching, I guess the training montage of them
Yeah.
they're doing, all working up to the first dance she does. She must have had about a week and a half.
Yeah, I think it was about
It reminds me of just like Strictly, the TV show. Because like they
this
have a
again.
no, but what do you mean this again? It's quite. I just found it quite funny. Like looking at, she does quite well, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just reminded me like, now you've picked your partner for Strictly. Let's go and have a week to practice
She
this.
had little training time from what it seems as.
Yeah, I
Obviously,
think
that's
that
not a lot for a
No.
full dance routine.
But then again, also 1960s was kind of a thing to dance. So like
I mean,
she was obviously
yeah.
doing like the cha-cha-cha and stuff like that. Wasn't anything like Johnny was doing, but that I guess she has the base knowledge of some things.
Yeah, you can also see as well, like, it's a short period of time, but they train from, like, they do a long
it's very intense
session of it.
Yeah, like she pretty much spends every day doing it for like a whole week.
Spend every day doing it. I don't know. Obviously, we can't tell how many hours it is.
Yeah.
But it was long sessions. And another thing about Johnny's, like, the character, I think it's quite courageous. Like, a man from the inner city to an upper class girl, and being told that he can't see her.
Yeah.
But he still goes to the lodge where the family is to try and get her.
No, it's the story of love, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Romeo and Juliet, but dancing, isn't it?
But it's like it's courageous because you think an inner city boy at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like,
a lot different.
1963. If they go for a girl in the upper class, they're getting
It's like an underdog, isn't it?
Yeah, they're getting completely shut down by the father because it is still times where like the father and arranged marriages sort of were still.
The father.
Well, I wouldn't say arranged, but it is like the father has a big influence on who he thinks right is for their
he
daughter.
married her off essentially.
Yeah.
They weren't sort of like
you get with
That
someone,
sort
but
of
if the father doesn't like them, it might not go your way.
It's like with I can't remember his name, the guy who owns Resort's nephew, who's talking to baby. I can't remember his name either.
Neil, I think it was.
Yeah, you could easily see that the dad was trying to push the relationship because he's a
Well, yeah.
successful guy.
Yeah, because it's like two upper class families.
Yeah,
And sort of like
it's like a business relationship, isn't
yeah,
it?
I'm going to say this now. We're not far off. We're not far out of school, but it's a bit like an Inspector Calls with the.
Yeah, it is actually.
I guess.
It's very much like Inspector Calls.
So all Neil can talk about is how he's like inheriting these hotels and when he catches Baby and Johnny doing their like crawling dance routine. It's like that famous scene.
Yeah,
it's
Johnny sort of just like
he
sort of runs off to the other side of the room.
Yeah, because Neil's like, oh, you get this guy to teach you dancing, I could do it,
and makes a fool of himself.
Yeah, makes a fool of himself.
He was trying a bit too hard for love that was never going to happen.
Yeah, because he thinks he was entitled to it. That's the whole thing. It's like he's like, oh no, yeah, well, of course you're not going for him. It's like, no, you're going for me, which I guess is kind of like the love story of it.
I mean, what else I've seen as well is, well, not seen but heard, sort of in the background when there's music playing in a scene with Johnny and Baby. Like, if you listen to the music closely, it's sort of that sets the tone for the scene you're about to watch with a conversation.
Well, yeah, because it's very based around them. It's the scene, like I said, there, the crawling one. They are singing the song to each other because she's saying, "What is like, come over? Is it come over here, lover boy?"
Yeah,
and then she's like going in between the back. That's like she's talking to him. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, you can see her go behind the dressing screen, and as she's going through it, singing the song, you can see her sort of gesture in front to come over, saying, "Come here, lover boy."
Yeah, I also found quite funny when it's doing the training montage thing and she's practicing the dance on the bridge, down the steps from the house. There's no music when she's doing it. Like, we hear the music, but she's just dancing on a bridge with like birds chirping around us.
That's the thing of sort of, it was a big time, like a big era for people to be dancing.
Yeah.
It was quite popular, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like most, obviously wasn't born in the 60s, but you'd see like...
Really?
But no, like, I think the 60s was sort of relationships and long-term stuff would start from dancing. Like, every era had something that would start, like,
it's like relationships from the war, like in Britain was like dance halls, and the same things in America, like when you had places like that.
Yeah, look back to massive sort of, balls and galas where people
sort of
like parents and that.
Sort of like dance halls when people had come back from war. Obviously, they'd been out for so long, it was sort of a dance hall. They'd be there, there'd be the women there. Sort of, you get a soldier who's been risking their life for years to play a woman who was mainly upper class.
You see, in the 80s ones as well, don't you, go to like dances in the big school? And that's sort of their, almost like a prom dance. That's a common thing in the 80s ones, isn't it?
It is like America celebrates everything with dancing, especially in film. Like teen films, it seems like everything.
You get the
parade dance scene. I don't know.
Brazilian Blade Runner, not so much. But, you know, it's not set in the 80s.
No.
I guess.
We don't need to talk about them.
So, have we got
Never going to acknowledge them.
any dislikes for this film?
I mean,
I do.
I liked the film. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of romance films. Sort of, I see that might be a controversial thing to say, but I see romance films sort of more of a feminine thing to watch.
I think that's fair.
Well, that's the stereotypical
Yeah.
view
Like
of
this-
it.
Yeah, the stereotypical way. I do think there was, obviously it's an 80s film, you're not going to see like amazing cinematography through it.
Well,
and
it
all
really
that,
depends, but I don't.
I
it
think
wasn't.
it
It wasn't meant to be like that.
groundbreaking,
Yeah.
But it was.
It
fairly
is like a
decent
film
for
you're
what it
supposed to like watch and feel good by the end of it.
Yeah, well,
Like it's not trying to. I mean, it is trying to portray a big message. It has a lot of underlying tones.
Yeah,
But if you were to just stick it on, like many people will, and just watch it,
yeah,
Like,
it just works, doesn't it?
it works.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think-
non-offensive, quite easy watch.
Yeah. I think probably the only dislike I'd say from the film is like the need to it could have done with a wider range of camera angles.
Okay.
Obviously, you do get a mix of them. Obviously, you get I don't know if it's a bird's eye view or just a long shot when the car's going to the resort.
Yeah,
Like you get
True, yeah.
you get a whole view of the resort, how big it is.
I think like again, I think a lot of my dislikes for this, unless I can't it's really because it's hard to critique things like this when it's not a bad film.
Yeah.
It's just something you either like or you don't because of the genre of the film. So it's like a lot of my dislikes are things that weren't in it.
Yeah, I
So-
guess it's also that if you're not like, especially with me, I don't usually watch films like this, so it's kind
Exactly.
of hard to pick up things that aren't quite right.
You're not used to what the genre has
It's
to
not like Blade Runner
what-
in Brazil like we've done previously, where
Yeah.
you've seen films like that before, you can kind of base it. Dirty
Yeah,
Dancing is
like-
kind of new ground for most
So,
of us, I think.
it's like-
you don't really know what the genre is.
Yeah, no frame
usually
of reference.
based off what happens
Yeah,
throughout. But
that's true.
That's one of the things that I like about it. Obviously, it's probably the first romance I've watched and remembered.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've never watched them. I've never had a big.
never wanted to really.
Yeah, like I've
Yeah.
never really wanted to because I've never seen a reason to watch them.
Mhm.
But I feel like Dirty Dancing for a first romance film to watch, obviously 80s as well,
It's a very big decade
Yeah,
for things
like
like
Yeah,
that.
definitely was.
a big film decade, bringing probably some of the best films you can ever watch.
Obviously.
And I think
I'd hope so, otherwise. That's kind of the premise here.
obviously
Ooh.
romance films were a thing before.
Yeah.
But I think that Dirty Dancing does it quite well.
Yeah, it does do it.
Like, it's a very big
Mhm.
sort of a big thing you've got to step to being an 80s romance film because it's still a big time for romance, and I think it's done it quite well.
Yeah.
I think I have two main dislikes really. Well, one, and then the first one is obviously it's not illegal or anything. I still think the age gap between Baby and Johnny feels a little weird to me.
What was the
It's
Yeah.
there's 7 years between them, so he's 25 and she's 18 apparently,
Okay.
which is obviously fine. I just thought, and I think it's made fine because Baby is like seemed to be like wiser than her years, and Johnny seems a bit more immature.
True. Yeah.
But it seems it feels like a bit, especially towards the beginning, like Baby has more of like a childish crush on Johnny.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's making all these not googly eyes, like love heart eyes, I guess. Googly eyes, yeah.
Yeah, her eyes pop out my head.
Yeah.
Pulse at Johnny.
No, like love heart eyes at him and stuff. And it's fine, I don't know.
Emojis.
There's just something I find about it that's a bit
Yeah, it's
a bit strange.
I
There's nothing wrong with it, obviously, and obviously they fall in love, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just something about the early stages of it really feels like he's trying to push her away because he realizes, you know, she's 18, she's like fresh out of high school, like
True,
she's
yeah.
quite impressionable still, but like then he kind of gives in, and it's fine because they learn from each other.
Yeah.
And
She
the other
teaches
thing I have
technically.
is the abortion storyline. It seemed more interesting than half the other stuff that was going on.
Really?
Well, no, because I wanted. So the thing about it was the abortion storyline with Penny, who's been impregnated by Robbie, and obviously she doesn't want to keep the baby because Robbie doesn't love her, and she
Yeah.
thought she did. it sets off like the whole main arc of the story. Like Baby learns to dance,
Yeah.
and then she wants to like. Then obviously there's the deeper meanings behind her and Johnny's relationship, but obviously it's not a professional doctor. It's a backstreet abortion. It's awful. It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Things like that. But she has that thing where she possibly could die that night. Baby's dad fixes it, and then tomorrow morning she's like totally fine. It's literally the day after. They go to see her the day after, and she's like, "Oh no, yeah, it's fine." Like,
I wouldn't say that she was totally fine because obviously she's
no, she's obviously not totally fine. But the way she's played, it's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm okay now." She's just been through something that's awful, and I can't. And it's not the film. This is why this is really hard to critique.
Just it's
because
sort of the character.
It's not what the film was meant to be.
Yeah.
Like I can't
That's why
criticize
it's
the
not
film for them not doing it.
Yeah.
I just feel like they set up this storyline, which I was really like, ooh, because the film isn't about.
The abortion.
It isn't about the abortion. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But considering it's set in the 1960s, abortion in America wasn't legalized till 10 years after it was 73.
Could not say.
I think it was 73, something like that. So obviously it's very legal still.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's still frowned upon, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's still
Some
frowned
people.
upon. And it just felt like to me like they brushed over it after it was done with.
True, but
So
again,
it was
if
such-
that's not the main thing of the
Yeah,
film.
exactly.
It just
I just felt
serves
it was
to further
such a
plot.
hard hitting thing to just put in the film, and then like just brush over it afterwards.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if the character, if Penny would have sort of had more screen time for it,
Yeah,
I agree.
if there was, I feel if there was more of an emotional side to Penny after that,
I know.
because obviously you've got a backstreet abortion. Obviously, I'm guessing the baby was aborted in that time,
Well, yeah,
and then obviously because it's a backstreet abortion for $250, like it's not going to be exceptional.
That
work.
money, it was a lot.
no, but that was a lot of money because remember that's
Yeah.
$2.5 grand now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but you think of like
Legally,
the
yeah.
prices of an actual.
Doing it safely
American-
would cost
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Sort of, it said he was there with a folding out table and a dirty knife.
Yeah.
So like,
It's
if
because I
she-
think they put across such an awful image to then just brush over it.
Yeah.
But I don't think obviously the film didn't want to go into that. I just felt they put such a hard hitting motive in
True.
for everything. And then again, it goes to the class thing with Robbie, the guy who got her pregnant,
Yeah.
thinking he's just better than it. Like, oh no,
Yeah. Not
it's fine,
feeling
she
he can
can
take responsibility.
Yeah, which is awful. But I feel like they did brush over it quite a lot.
They did. You're right.
I mean, back to sort of richer person brushing over it. We can go back to an Inspector Calls with it
That's valid.
because that happened in there.
It's
as
a
well.
lot of similar
Sort
things,
yeah.
actually, isn't it?
It's an older class man taking advantage.
Yeah.
Sort of
pretty much.
taking advantage of
A lower
someone
class.
who's lower class, and then when stuff doesn't go the right way and
Yeah.
like starts to go sour,
It's
sort
not
of
his responsibility.
because of
is
his
it?
class, he can sort of just cut it off, forget about it because
Yeah.
there wasn't much care for lower class
Yeah.
people at the time.
That's a valid point, actually.
So-
There's a lot of parallels.
Very quickly, because we
Yeah,
that
we are
was
running-
very long. Theo, very quickly, what do you rate Dirty Dancing?
Obviously, first romance to watch. It's an 80s film. They do that quite well. It's the first film I'm going to rate highly,
Really?
and I think it
What
was
would you be like 6?
no. It was very good to watch. I enjoyed watching it as well. I'm
The
gonna
first time this has happened.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5.
Wow, very high from Theo there.
Higher than Alfie's ludicrous parade.
Yeah.
score.
I'm never going to live that one down.
Okay, Alfie, what
So for me-
do you rate it?
I haven't talked very much about it because I didn't make any notes while watching it. But I did enjoy
And I
watching the film.
got called lazy for saying I wouldn't make notes for myself. So
Okay, stop
well,
arguing.
yeah, I did say
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna watch half the film.
So anyway, for Dirty Dancing for me, I think I'd probably have to give it a 7.
And I thought I'd given it a high score. I don't know. To me, because it was enjoyable, it was a lot more enjoyable than other films we've watched. Based on that factor, I've given it a 6.
Okay.
That's what I mean, because I don't
Yeah.
think... I think giving it a 7, it's going into more of the really good films. And it's not a really good film. It's just a film that I quite liked watching.
Alright.
So I'll go with a 6.
I disagree, but I said that was a very good film.
So, Thanks for disagreeing with me.
That's what. It's all
What
about,
does
to be
that
fair.
bring the overall score for Dirty Dancing to?
6.8
6.8. So it's officially higher than Blade Runner
and
Brazil.
It's our highest rated film so far.
Great. So we'll move on to the questions which Theo has done for us this week. So let's go.
Right, so now we've got the question section. We're back to normality with 3 questions, not a quick fire round. But I've got it as 3 multiple choice questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
So first question is, for helping out with the magic show, what animal does Baby receive as her prize? Was it a goldfish, a rabbit, or a chicken?
A rabbit, I think.
I'm going to say it was a chicken.
1 point for Alfie.
It was a chicken?
Yeah. She
Was
got-
it?
Yeah, she got handed a chicken.
She got
Didn't
handed
know
a
what
Oh no,
to
she
do.
did. I was thinking
Yeah.
she had like this white bunny. No, it wasn't.
No,
Was it?
just
No.
held it by the legs like that against the
Yeah. Just very awkward, isn't it?
She grasped it.
Fair enough. I forgot that.
Yeah. Question 2. When she was performing with Johnny at the Sheldrake Hotel, what colour was her dress?
Oh,
Was it coral, white, or black?
Go coral. I'm going coral.
Okay.
you know what, Coral?
Point for both of you.
Yeah. Well, you
She
put
had a-
coral in there. It's
Yeah.
gonna be
She
coral.
was a strapped coral dress.
Yeah.
Didn't realise you were a fashion designer.
He's got an eye for colour.
You didn't look at
That
that.
sounds a bit wrong, actually. Never mind.
You didn't look at that and just go, that right there. That's
Yeah.
coral. That.
Yeah.
He pulled out the hex code.
Right, the final question is
Colour wheel.
a quote.
Alright.
Oh.
So you've got to finish the quote off.
Oh, we're gonna finish the.
Yeah.
Wait, so is this multiple choice still?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a quote from Johnny, I believe, while talking to Baby. Well, it looks like I picked the wrong sister. That's okay, Baby. And then what was said after? Was it, I went slumming too? Your secret's safe with me? Or Lisa will never know?
Oh, I can't. Say them again.
I went slumming too.
Uh huh.
Your secret's safe with me?
Uh huh.
Or Lisa will never know? I will put it out there. I don't think Lisa ever found out.
That's really hard.
I'm gonna go A.
Okay, Alfie thinks it's I went slumming too.
I'm gonna go with Lisa will never know. I think it was C.
Okay. Well, what are the points for this episode up to now? Alfie, you've got...
It's 4-4 and then 2 at you, obviously.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so someone's going ahead now.
Yeah.
So what was it?
The answer was, well, it looked like I picked the wrong sister. That's okay, Baby. I went slumming too.
Oh, so Alfie gets the point.
So
I
Alfie's
didn't-
got the point.
I got
So
all
then-
of them there. I'm quite proud of that.
So then, how relevant do we think this film is today?
I'd probably say it seems like everything we've gone so far has been pretty relevant because it is a
No.
hallmark for the romance genre,
I think,
isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think Dirty Dancing, especially today, is the most popular mainstream film. Because Blade Runner and
Oh, that we've
Brazil,
done.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I was
Blade,
gonna say
no,
overall.
not overall. Like Blade Runner and Brazil,
Yes.
which we've done in the last two
Yeah.
episodes, they are quite cult films. Like
Blade Runner's
people know about
more
definitely
widespread.
Blade Runner, but
Brazil is on the
very,
wackier
very
side.
niche.
Yeah, when I mentioned Brazil, the people are like, what's that?
Exactly,
Never
but
heard of
people
it.
will
The
know,
country.
even if they haven't watched it, people will know what Dirty Dancing is.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh
They've
yeah,
heard
that
of it.
film with the lift. That's what they'll say.
Or the dancing.
Yeah, or the dancing.
That is actually what my mum said when I said we're doing Dirty Dancing. She
The one with
started
the lift.
singing Time of My Life
Is
and said,
that is that the dirty film with the dancing?
They're all
Said-
quite clean
she
for
said-
it as well.
Yeah.
said, that's the one with the lift, yeah?
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
lifted her arms up
It's
like she
iconic,
was
isn't
holding
it?
someone, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's stuck a lot better because it was a film made really to make money. I think, like the other
Yeah.
two films we've watched, they make money,
Yeah.
but like
But
they were
definitely
directors like artistic.
Bit more stylistic, weren't they?
Well, like one of these was like a classic 80s film that is really good still,
Yeah.
but was released by because they knew it was going to be popular with like young people.
Yeah,
and
had quite a wide audience.
Yeah, had a why the others. It was very like, this is a sci-fi film.
Yeah.
This is you will not like this if you don't like this type of film. Whereas that it was like there's something probably everybody can enjoy with it.
Yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But then compare it to Brazil and Blade Runner, where they're very, like you say, niche audiences.
Yeah.
It's-
that helps
isn't
it be more popular and then like be remembered. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is when you think like when people go, oh, you know, what's your favorite 80s films? Oh yeah, Dirty Dancing will be there.
Yeah, it'll be in a lot of people's lists already, won't it?
Well, I remember
because it's so well known.
Yeah, it's
But
memorable too.
like you said, it was a film made to
sell.
make money.
Yeah.
I was looking for it here. It came up with a new Dirty Dancing Havana Nights.
that's the new one.
Yeah. I mean, I can say now that box office is disgraceful.
No, so it was said this box.
didn't
I
make
think
30 million.
the one I looked up, it said it made between 170 to 200 million.
It's the original
think-
one, yeah?
Yeah, the original one,
I think what I seen was it had.
which is a lot of money, no matter what
Yeah.
budget they had it on.
It's a lot of
It's
things.
still like
It was
100
a-
million.
I think the budget was 4 to 6
It
million.
wouldn't have been much. It wasn't like a
It's a very impressive turnaround, then.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
It's the only film we've covered so far that's made money.
yeah.
the film done better international than domestic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like domestic, it made 64.5 million,
Yeah.
which is still a lot.
That is a lot.
And then international, it made 150 million.
Well,
And
here's
then
a
worldwide, it made 214.5
Yeah.
million.
It's very impressive.
I think here's something that kind of shows how influential it is really as like a film. So I was talking to your mum, Alfie,
Yes.
and
Okay.
she really likes Dirty Dancing.
She is a very big fan of
But
Dirty
your
Dancing.
mum
Where's
was
this
born after it came out, I think, or like she was like 4. No, she lived in really young when it came out. Because I can't. This is. I'm pretty sure. Because what's your mum?
Yes.
Like, your mum was like early.
This
40s,
feels like
isn't
a
she?
weird...
No.
So-
Your
yes.
mum is like in her early 40s, right? And
Yes.
and she'll have only been like 4 or 5 when this film came out. But like
She was...
it shows it wasn't like a one-hit success.
I'm not going to reveal my mother's age. 'cause I'm not- She was young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I
Both-
mean. I
both-
mean, she wasn't the
both my
target
parents-
audience for viewing the film.
No,
but it
she
means
wasn't a
like
teenager.
when she's grown up, it's still been there to watch. Like people still wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Where other films, they've kind of like varied.
Yeah, both my parents were under the age of 10 when it came out.
Exactly, but your mum
Yeah.
knows it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows it. I was having a conversation with her earlier. She said she's never watched the film the full way through, but obviously she knows it and she's watched it.
Exactly. So it's like
Yeah.
people who don't know and were born around the time or even after, like, still love it and watch it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it'll be passed down. But yeah, I think that's
I think that's about it, really.
that's about it. Yeah, that's how relevant it is
I mean,
today.
what's the difference from us to Dirty Dancing? That's 87.
3,
So-
13, about... Well, from when we're born, from now it's 36 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was.
well,
It's still a big difference from when that came out to us. Like us lot being like grown up, and still we
36 years.
we know about the film. Obviously, we'd
Yeah,
heard
exactly.
we'd heard of Blade Runner because that
That's
is
true.
such a cult
I
classic.
mean, I think that's
But,
just
like,
film in
main-
general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like mainstream. Like
but
it's
given
just
that people still don't know, like
every,
you said.
like people know it. Like you could go up to someone. I'm not going to say walk
just,
up.
just go like that.
No,
Put your
no,
arms
no,
over your
no.
head.
No, I'm not.
Do
gonna
you
say,
know Dirty Dancing?
I'm not going to say.
What's this mean?
I'm not going to say walk up to a random person in the street and say, "Do you know Dirty Dancing?" But sort of like you could go to someone,
Yeah.
ask them what your favorite '80s films, and like
If you've
Dirty
watched
Dancing would be there
Yeah, for a lot
Yeah.
of people.
because it's
isn't
so
it?
well known.
I think that does just sum it up, really. And there's another week down of the 80s Cinema Club. Thank you for listening to us talking shit about Dirty Dancing.
That was quite positive.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, no, it was.
I think it was me, really. I think I talked most about that episode.
Yeah, it was more positive than negative.
No, I think, yeah, I didn't talk shit about it. It was fine. Yeah, so that was this week's episode. Please go and follow us on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. I'll remember that one this time. What was the
I
one?
think so. Instagram.
No, I said Instagram at the beginning. Yeah, that is 80s Cinema Club on pretty much all of them. Anything else to add? Anyone?
No.
Anyone?
No, the
Look
thing-
forward to the next 3 episodes.
Oh
We're
yeah.
deciding the films
Next
after this.
week. No, next week we will be covering. I'm gonna say American Werewolf in London. Cannot remember. I think it's 1981. That's off the top of my head. But yeah, join us next week when we'll be discovering that. It is bye from me. Bye from these 2 interesting people.
I was
See ya.
expecting something nice there. Like
Oh, well, you're not
Thank you for listening.
My good
You're not gonna
co-host.
get it. Goodbye.
Thanks.